Shalom, giving no praise unto Yahweh Shabbat Hashem Kol HaKodash. Double honors unto the apostles of great millstone. And I honor you brothers to be pushing this truth in sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. And above everybody are coming out here to give you this truth for the grace and mercy of Yahweh Shabbat Hashem Kol HaKodash. Giving no praise unto Yahweh Shabbat Hashem Kol HaKodash. Yeah, this is going to be a in-transit style video. And the purpose of this video is to go into and speak about some of the things that are happening out here within the UK. And you know, in areas that are very, very close to home out here, and pretty much you're beginning to see is everybody turning to his own clan. Okay, everybody turning back to their own people. And you had this talk of being woke and being politically correct for the longest amount of time, but the reality of the situation is that everybody's going to return back onto their own people. Okay, whether it be via instinct and your spiritual inkling about a particular person, or over the superficial, okay, how a person looks, etc, etc, etc. And that's pretty much what you've been seeing out here within the UK, where you've had mad tension, racial tension between the English people and pretty much everybody else. But right now the focus is on the so-called Muslim people out there, and the rhetoric, which, you know, I might go into this and do a separate video. In fact, tomorrow I'll do a separate video, and I'll call it something like the original man of terror. That'll be a good topic to go into. I'll probably do that tomorrow or Tuesday. The original man of terror. But you know, the rhetoric right now is because, you know, a handful of individuals within a particular nation, namely the Islamic individuals, okay, they've done particular things which obviously we don't condone those acts. You know, them guys are kind of crazy and bugged out. They do weird things, man. Okay, like female genital mutilation, which is, you know, that's off. Okay, that's off. That's way off. All right, they got these pedo rings, right? You know what I'm talking about. But when all is said and done, okay, Esau's trying to portray himself as the victim, and again, like I said, I'll probably do a separate video going into that. And again, like I said, I call it the original man of terror, right? Esau wants to play the victim with these particular situations, and right now, you know, Britain, for all intents and purposes, is in a civil war right now. Okay, you got these people that basically come and make the backbone of this British modern day British Empire, right? This British English thing. You got people out here that really come to this country and they build themselves up, and obviously there's a few undesirables amongst them, but Esau as a whole is undesirable. Okay, Esau as a whole is undesirable, right? Whenever they go into other people's countries, they leave a mess. The French hate him, right? The Spanish hate him when they go out there on holiday, and they're causing a mess. But you know, the purpose of this video is not to really go into that topic. That's going to be a separate topic that I'm going to do on a different day, and I'll go into the topic of the original man of terror, and we can go through, you know, the list of different things that Esau's done via the process of time. Okay, we can go through it. We can go through that on a separate occasion. But on this particular occasion, you know, we can go into these prophecies, and we can see what we're seeing and experiencing right now is all according to prophecy. Okay, like we see in here within this particular scripture here, right? There shall be sedition among men. This is the book of 2 Ezra, the 15th chapter on the 16th verse. It says, "For there shall be sedition among men, invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes." So we're clearly seeing, and we're clearly in a time where people out here right now, there are unrest. Okay, right? They want things to so-called change. They want things to go back to the good old days. And the reality of the situation is, it's not going back to the good old days. Okay, it's not going back to the good old days. Things ain't gonna improve, right? Here it is, the interest rates have been crazy high for the longest time. Your mortgage is crazy, and they're burning down a shoe shop. Okay, they're burning down a shoe shop in protest of immigration. That's crazy. It's like, well, hold on a minute. Doesn't one of your own people work there? This is how detached this is how detached people are right now. Okay, this is how detached people are right now. They're so detached and so far removed from reality that they'll burn down their own countryman's worker place, their own countryman's place of business in protest of immigration. That's like a total lack of understanding of how your society works and functions. Okay, totally tone deaf. They go around the earth calling everybody else a person, a terror, and really they're being the ones that cause havoc throughout the four corners of the earth. This is the guy that we're living underneath right now. The very evil Edomite Esau. But again, like I said, you know, it's all good and well, you know, speaking of the politically correct rhetoric that's been, you know, being shoved right throughout the four corners of the earth, that's being pushed heavy throughout the four corners of the earth. Right, these ideas and values about how everybody's equal, but when it comes down to it, you're really seeing and understanding that's on the surface level. That's when you're in the office, okay? That's when you're in a place where a person can lose their job or lose their livelihood. But when it's all said and done and the balaclava comes on, okay, the masks come on, that's when you really begin to understand that these people, especially the red Hebrew Edomite Esau, man, he don't like nobody. Okay, he don't even like his own. He don't even like his own. Okay? But you Jakes out here, all right? These other nations out here, they're beginning to remember that, well, hold on a minute, this is the man, you know, this is that guy again, okay? That's terrorized the whole earth. And now this is so-called his place where he lives at, or his country or whatever, which really, when you go into the history, it's not really his country, right? It's not really his country. Okay? But they like to believe it's their country, right? All right, whatever, it is what it is, isn't it? You go into the history, you begin to understand that, you know, you begin to understand a different story. But for the purpose of this video, okay, this is their so-called country or whatever, right? But you're beginning to understand that really, you know, especially if you're Jake, which Jake really is kind of like in the background right now. Jake's watching these so-called Muslims out here get the wrath of Esau, for lack of a better way of putting it, man. It looks like it's fucking the 1700s out here. When you're seeing some of these guys getting kicked and punched and all of that, man, it's looking like it's Jake in fucking the 1600s, man. It's looking gruesome out here. All right, it's looking gruesome out here. It's looking greasy out here, man. It's looking like a picture from a long time ago. All right, because that old sentiment, that old racial tension between Jacob and Esau, which the nations are catching it right now, these so-called Muslim nations, that old tension is still there. Okay, and whenever you see them attacking, you know, whenever you see them attacking them brown people, right, from Pakistan or whatever, just know Jake is in the background. Okay, just imagine what they think about Jake. It's just that we don't have a culture, all right, a unified so-called culture. We don't have a unified, right, front where Esau can say, okay, let's stop that. And that's one of the, the Spirit just jumped on something there. That's one of the things that the elder from Dallas has been saying heavy. Okay, that's why the Most High, had it to where we were scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. That's why the Most High had it to where we were scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. Look how much work this guy Volkub's gonna put in to try and slow down this truth, and it's impossible because the Most High hasn't got it to where the temple is in one location. Okay, the Most High hasn't got it to where his temple is in one location. That's what's beautiful. Here it is, we don't have a so-called unified front or culture or whatever. Really, we got a culture, right, which is contained within the scriptures, but we don't have a temple or a mosque or anything like that. That means to say, yeah, they could attack one brother, yeah, they could touch one brother, but the reality of the situation is the movement of this truth is not going to be stopped because we're so spread, okay, we're so spread out that it's unstoppable. That's another way of looking at these particular situations that we're seeing throughout England right now. We're seeing these, which, the question I'm saying is, okay, so where's Allah? Okay, where's Allah? These guys have been worshiping. You got Jake out here that are so-called Muslim. You got Jake out here that are so-called Muslim. Right? Where's Allah? Where's Allah protecting you niggas right now when Esau's coming down with a wrath? Okay? Then that's not to say that the Most High ain't gonna have his men, right, touched. We understand from the scriptures, right, that there's particular men that are gonna have to die for this truth. Right? But you man have been out here pushing all of this rhetoric about Allah and this, that, and the third. But so where is he right now? Okay, where's your scriptural precedence, right? Where's your scriptural precedence for the things that are happening right now? You see? It don't make sense, does it? Because no prophecy. How can you have a book of prophecy, a guy come on the earth, and he's supposed to be a prophet? He's supposed to be a prophet, and he ain't got no prophecies. He ain't gonna tell you about you in the UK getting kicked out, right? Because you're driving a taxi or Uber. Where's the great writings of your teachers saying this is what's gonna happen within the future? At least when let's say a brother gets run upon by Esau, at least we can go to the scriptures and say, hey, look, brother, this is what's supposed to be happening. Let's say a brother was losing faith, okay, and we have to build his faith up again because he got attacked. We can look in the scriptures and say that. But what about you? What about you, man? Okay, what about you guys out here, right? driving around in the Uber, okay, right, driving around in fear because of the man of sin, because of the Red Hebrew Edomite Esau's coming down right now, and he's disgruntled. And instead of looking into their leaders and saying, "Oh, hold on a minute," the policymakers have set up a situation out here where the UK has got the worst economic forecast after the so-called C19 thing, right? They got the worst interest rates after the C19 thing. Really, it's not all of these people that are coming to the country, right? Which ultimately, when you see and understand why these people run to the UK, why do people come from? Why does a guy risk his life, right, to travel in a boat somewhere from Slovakia, to travel from a boat somewhere, right, to come into the UK? Why do they really do that? Because the international banking families, of which one of their hubs, or really their financial hub, is London, have destroyed all of these different countries, man. Which, again, like I said, I'll go into that topic tomorrow. That's really why nobody wants to speak about that. Nobody wants to speak about how these international bankers, the reason why you can get, right, a t-shirt for £5, right, is because the international bankers, right, least or the British, French, and all these other different countries where they've got so-called migrant issues, the elite of them have gone into these countries, stole all the mineral resources thereof, right, and now they've got all the resources to their hand, okay? They've got all the riches in their hand. The book of Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter, speaks about that. They got all the resources to hand, and now they're complaining about so-called immigration. So hold on a minute, you stolen our goods, man. Really, that's what these nations are supposed to be saying. That's what they're really supposed to be saying. They should go out there and protest themselves and say, no, hold on a minute, sir. You stolen from us. That's why we're emigrating to your so-called country, because you stolen from us. But nobody wants to speak about that. Nobody wants to speak about that. Anyways, I'm rambling. I'm saying all kinds of different things. Right? The point of this video was what? When all is said and done, okay, when you got all of these tensions, right, you got all of these, terrible economic forecasts, you got all of these situations out there throughout the four corners of the earth to make it to where a man might be afraid, right? Everybody's going to return back onto their own. Everybody's going to return back onto their own. All of this, we are one type sentiment. It all falls apart when you got situations like what we're seeing right now, okay? It all falls apart, man. So anyways, that's the video. Again, apologize for being all over the place. It's like an in transit style video. All right, I'm a little bit tired right now. My first weekend back at work. But yeah, man, hopefully it was a verification. Without my say all praise unto Yahweh, Shema Shai Bashim Ko HaKodash. Double honors unto the apostles of great millstone, and the honest brothers that be pushing this truth in sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. Shalom.